Alrighty, y'all. Call you back in 3. Call you back 2. Call you back in 1. All right. So you have gotten an invitation because you are all in my debate class. If you are a virtual student, you are getting a verbal invitation right now. Every single Thursday at 5:15, we are going to be holding debate meetings. It's our debate club. So what we're going to do in there, you can use it as like competition time where you can get ready for competition. But we're also going to be doing some debate activities within the meeting as well. So for example, like we might have a topic for us to debate each other on that day, and then we might switch to a different activity. So if y'all want to come and join us, I highly suggest it. We're going to have lots of fun. So all of my officers are actually running it. So you won't really hear me talk too much in case y'all get annoyed with my voice during the class period. You'll listen to the officers and they'll just kind of run. Okay.
Just wait.
Yes, Michael?
About that, is like anything like to get a bus home or something, or no?
Say that one more time.
If I go like this next week, is there gonna like buses to take them home? The parents can't pick them up.
So you don't have a ride? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because my mom usually works and my grandma can't drive.
Yeah, you can like talk to try to get on the chat and see if anybody like lives around you that might be able to.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, so if y'all want to come up to the school at 5:15, I think we're gonna have snacks as well for this very first one. I don't know if it's gonna be an every week thing, but I know they wanted to have some snacks too. Okay. You get here by 5:15. They changed the time on it, so if you have a 4:15 one, change the time to 5:15, because I think we have a lot of people who are doing some kind of practice after school. We wanted to make sure that we included them.
Okay, when do we leave?
About 6:15. It'll be an hour.
I thought you said 6 minutes.
You're not required, but we want you to be there. If it's too short notice, then that's fine. Yeah. But just so you know, this is an every Thursday thing. So y'all can show up every Thursday for the rest of the year. And it is okay if you're a little late, because I know some of y'all, I think some of y'all might have like football practice or some kind of practice that lasts till 5:30. That's okay, because once wrestling season starts, like I'll be late as well. But y'all can just continue to come in. That's fine, as long as you don't come in before we end at 6:15. But every Thursday, we're going to talk about our fundraiser that we're going to do. Some good fundraiser ideas. Sounds good?
I did one match of wrestling and I got cheap shot and punched in the throat, and the ref did nothing about it.
They probably didn't see it. There's a couple times where we've had a kid get a concussion because he got punched in the head because the kid was cross-facing with a closed fist and punched him.
I've been punched in the nose.
Yeah. Yes.
Just wait.
Hold on, Michael. I got a question in class. Yes.
Okay.
I don't know. They haven't communicated what they're going to choose yet. But it's gonna change every week, I think. All right, Michael, did you have a question?
I forgot my mom's off on Thursday, so I will be able to go with the ride.
Awesome, fantastic. Sounds like a plan. Okay. All right. So everybody, virtual learners, this is my verbal invitation. I handed out invitations to the people here, but I couldn't do that with y'all because I guess I could have mailed them to you, but I didn't think they would get there in time. All right. So let's go ahead and continue on. We are talking about duo is where we left off, correct? Am I right? All right. So we are a little bit behind. So that's fine. I didn't know exactly how long this was going to take, so. All right. So we have duo. Duo is basically very similar to HI and DI, only now you have a partner. Now, you can't look at your partner. You can't interact with your partner. So it does get a little bit tricky. This is fully memorized. So you're basically taking some kind of published work and you are turning it into like a 10-minute performance. And that's it. Okay? Yeah, we talked about it, but I was just giving a brief synopsis in case y'all like forgot. So here is an example. This is Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog. If you haven't seen this movie, great movie. I love it. It's fantastic. It's got Neil Patrick Harris in it, Nathan Fillion. It's a musical, yeah. Checking the audience to make sure that they're ready.
Okay, and we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Ba da 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 bum 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 ba da da da. Ah 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 ha ha ha. So the evil laugh is coming along. BT Dubs, the freeze ray is almost done. This is the one. Freeze ray stops time. Tell your friends. Emails. Now look, our good friend Johnny Snow. Dr. Horrible, I see you are once again afraid to do battle with your nemesis. Okay, dude, you're not my nemesis. My nemesis is
Captain Hammer.
What are you doing in my house?
I don't know. I can go check out your fridge.
Moist.
Yeah, Doc, you need anything dampened or made sweaty?
No, just take care of Captain Hammer, will you?
Got it.
Thanks, my sweaty henchman buddy.
I can't do it.
Forget it, just forget it. Next email. Dead Not Sleeping writes, you always say you blog about her and that you will show her the way. Who is she, and does she even know you exist? Laundry day, see you there, under things, tumbling. Wanna say, love your hair. Here I go, hi, I'm mumbling. With my freeze ray, I would find the time to find the words to love your hair.
What?
Nothing. I just love this air.
Okay. Bum bum.
Until next time.
If you ever find yourself becoming green with rage rather than envy, you might be a superhero.
If you refer to your apartment as the Batcave, you might be
A virgin.
You know, I was gonna say superhero.
If you would do anything for the girl of your dreams, you
You
might be Dr. Horrible.
Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog.
By Joss Whedon. A virgin.
Bum ba da da bum 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 ba da da da. Activate scope. Fire!
Wonderflonium needed.
I'm going to need Wonderflonium if I want to defeat Captain Hammer. Like stealing a baby from a candy store. Bum, 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 bum.
Would you lend a caring hand to shelter those who need it?
No!
Okay. Would you lend? Would you lend?
What?
Papers.
Oh, I am so sorry.
Ah.
I'm sorry, I'm just in a rush. It's okay, I got it.
You
I
don't
just
have to
love your
pick 'em
hair.
up.
I'm
It's fine. No
sorry.
one wants them anyway. It's fine. Yeah, I know you.
Oh, you do? Cool. I mean, yeah, you do you?
From the laundromat?
Yeah, Wednesdays and Saturdays, except twice last month you skipped the weekends. I mean, it could have been you. I've seen you around. Billy's my name.
I'm Penny. I'm out here volunteering for the Caring Hands homeless shelter. You don't care about the homeless?
Oh, no, I do. It's just you're treating a symptom as the disease rages on and consumes the human race while you're getting signatures. They say that the fish rots from the head, so my thinking is why not just chop off the head?
Of the human race?
Okay, it's not a perfect metaphor. I'm just thinking of an overhaul in the system, putting the power in upper hands.
Oh, well, I'm all for that, but why not just put them in more caring hands?
I love to sign. Sorry, I come on strong.
But you signed.
Of course. I can't turn my back on a fellow laundry person. Shoot, I really gotta go.
Wait,
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bum, 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 bum. She talked to me, Moist. Oh, but why do you have to be during my heist? Moist to Don?
Yeah, and we're live in now.
Ladies and gentlemen, feast your eyes on my freeze ray. With this, I will be able to defeat my nemesis, Captain Hammer. But first, I must do my laundry. Bum, 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 bum.
It's so dumb that we've been coming here for so long and have never spoke.
I know. Months and months of this stunningly boring chore.
I'm actually a fan of laundry.
Psych, I love it.
So, Billy, what do you do?
I have a job that I think I'm really qualified for. I just can't seem to get my foot in the door.
Oh, I'm sure things will work out.
I want to do great things in the world, you know?
Yeah. Well, I've been turned down from plenty of jobs. You know, that's enough detergent things. I've even been fired from a few jobs, but you know what they say, everything happens.
Don't say for a reason.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say everything happens.
Yeah, well, not to me.
Billy, every time you're hurt, there's one who has it worse around. And every day of rain brings water flowing to things growing in the ground. Just keep your head up, Billy, buddy.
This is weird. I went to the frozen yogurt place and asked for yogurt, and they gave me 2. You don't like frozen yogurt, do you?
No.
Me neither.
I love it.
Psych, me too. What a crazy random happenstance, sport, guys. So, how was your weekend?
It was good. I went on a date.
Date? Get right out of town. How was that?
Unexpected. He's a really good-looking guy, and at first I thought he was kind of cheesy.
Trust your
but
instincts.
Then he turned out really sweet. I don't know. Sometimes people are just layered like that.
Who is this sweetie layered man you speak of?
His name's Captain Hammer.
Captain Hammer?
Billy,
Yeah,
you're driving your spork into your leg.
so I am. Hilarious.
Well, I'm interested to know what you think of him. He said he might stop by.
Stop by here? No? Boy, you know, look at my wrist. I really gotta go.
Well, what about your clothes?
Yeah, I don't love these. I'll see you later.
Oh, pardon me.
Pardon?
Billy, the laundry buddy. You look horribly familiar.
Look, I'd love to stay in chit-chat.
You've got a little crush, don't you, Doc? Well, that's going to make this hard to hear. Later on, I'm going to take a little Penny back to my place, give her the night of her life, just because you want her. And I get what you want. Tonight, Penny's with the hammer, and these are not the hammer. The hammer.
Yeah, I know. Bum, 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 bum. Moist.
Yeah.
Captain Hammer may be able to beat me until I'm unconscious or humiliate me in front of everyone.
Everyone.
But taking away Penny is just too much.
Too much.
Moist.
Yeah?
Get me the freeze ray. No. Get me the death ray. Bomb, 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 ba da da da. to City Hall. Bum, 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 bum.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for opening Penny's Careless Hands Homeless Shelter in honor of me, Captain Hammer.
Yay, Captain Hammer!
You get away, homeless guy. You smell like poop. Now, I've prepared this speech. I hate the homelessness problem that plagues our city. Everyone should, you know what? I don't need these tiny cue cards. When I, you know what, I'm just gonna pick these back up. It's
Ooh, ha, ha, ha.
Dr. Horrible.
Captain Hammer. This is awkward.
Yeah.
Bum, 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 bum.
I had a feeling you'd show up and cause a ruckus. Come here, you. It's curtains for you, Doctor. Lacy, gently wafting curtains.
Bum, 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 ba-da-da.
Stop hitting yourself. 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 Stop.
Ba-da-da-da. Oh my gosh, I did it.
Now, say hello to St. Peter for me. Or whoever does his job, but in hell.
Captain Hammer, meet nail.
I hammer.
Quick, activate death ray. Here goes, no mercy.
Billy, wait.
Penny? Penny, no.
Billy, is that you?
Penny, please, just hold on. Penny.
It's okay. Everything happens.
Penny, no, this wasn't supposed to happen. Penny. I have everything I ever wanted. The fame, the fortune, the world at my feet. And I won't feel a thing. Everything happens.
Keep your head up, Billy, buddy.
Not to me. Bum, 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 bum.
All right, so that was an example of duo. Questions about duo? Yes.
Oh, no.
Oh, you're stretching? Okay. All right, so now we're going to actually move on. So that was all of their interp events. So now we're actually going to move on to speaking events that you can do through debate as well. So the very first one, and the first one that we're actually going to do together as a class, because it kind of fits in with everything debate, is called extemporaneous speaking. So extemp, it just gives you the chance to give an organized speech about a current event or a foreign or domestic current event. So basically what you do in extemporaneous speaking is you go into a room full of all these extemp speakers, and you go up to a desk or whatever they're having you go up to, and you draw 3 different topics. Out of those 3 different topics, you can choose which one you actually want to do a speech on. And then you have a grand total of 30 minutes to prepare said speech. And that is it. All right. During your prep time, speakers are going to use files of news articles compiled prior to the competition. So it is very, very important as an extemporaneous speaker that you watch the news. So if you watch the news pretty often, or if you read through articles of the news pretty often, then you're going to actually probably do pretty good at this if you keep up with everything that's happening. You have a choice on whether or not you want to do foreign or domestic topics in TFA tournaments. Otherwise, in UIL tournaments, it's just persuasive or informative, and that's it. Okay, but as an extemp speaker, it's super, super imperative that you watch the news and you keep up with current events, because that is what's going to be on your questions that you have to answer and your topics. So you have 30 minutes to prepare a 7-minute speech that answers whatever question that you're answering. You do want to do your best to hit that 7-minute limit or at least come close to it. I've had a lot of extempers where I've been the judge where they've only talked for like 4 or 5 minutes and they get a lot of points deducted from their speaker points because they can't speak for a long time. But if you follow the format that I give you and you're very detailed, then you should be fine. Okay? The Extemp format is a lot like the ones that y'all used for your About Me speeches, only now we have just a couple extra steps that we'll include in it. So some of you were able to speak for like 4 minutes based off of that one assignment, which is good, which is great, okay? But now we're going to add a few more details in and a few more, evidence, because we didn't have evidence last time, that you'll be able to talk about, explain, and that'll eat up a little bit of your time, okay? So here's an Extemp example. The question that this gentleman is answering is, what would legalizing marijuana mean for drug abuse by American youth? So pay attention to the way that he formats his speech. You're going to see that it's a lot like how I taught you for your About Me speech.
American doctors all across this country are bound to what is known as the Hippocratic Oath.
So he's starting
Today
off with
I'm
a quote.
drawn to 3 words
Or
from that
attention
oath. Do not harm. Do not harm ourselves. Do not harm each other. Do not harm our society. Yet today I want to tell all of you about a certain type of harm. And this harm has a mask around it, a masquerade, a facade. And sometimes it's in the name of pleasure. Sometimes it's in the name of convenience. Sometimes that mask is in the name of even freedom. And today we're going to be taking off that mask, that facade, and revealing the truth as we answer today's question. What would legalizing marijuana mean for drug abuse by American youth? And what I'm going to tell all of you is that legalization of marijuana particularly harms American youth and therefore fails that fundamental creed, do not harm. And we're going to be seeing this in 2 ways. First of all, because the arguments in favor of legalization of marijuana are dead wrong. And secondly, because they are deadly. Let's start with the first issue, that the arguments in favor of legalization of marijuana are flat out dead wrong. Now, don't get me wrong here. I understand there have been decades and decades of public policy research on both sides of the issue, and both of which would probably tell you completely different results. But right now I'm drawn particularly to some words from one of our great friends, Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont. You see, at virtually every single one of his rallies, Senator Sanders has always told his enthusiastic supporters that we should legalize marijuana because guess what? Marijuana is not heroin. And he's right. Marijuana is not heroin. There is a difference between methamphetamines and heroin and crack cocaine and marijuana. And guess what? We shouldn't legalize any of them. So he's right. But interestingly enough, what he would tell you in those same rallies is that we should legalize marijuana because it isn't the government's job. It isn't the government's duty to tell you and I what we can put in our bodies. But following that line of reasoning, we should legalize heroin or methamphetamines or crack cocaine. But unfortunately, his opinion is not isolated. But luckily, groups like the American Society for Addiction Mediation, Dr. Mark Krauss, Charles Stimson, and the Heritage Foundation have done decades of research on legalization of marijuana. But they not only analyzed this subject specifically, they also took into account its effect on American youth. I'll point you to the example of Colorado. A Colorado study found that there was a 300% increase in marijuana use by American youth. Now keep in mind, Colorado did not legalize marijuana for American youth. Yes, correct. It did not legalize marijuana for American youth. It only did so for those that are over the age of 18. Yet there was still an increase in effect on American youth. But you might be wondering, why does this affect us? How does this affect us personally? Well, I'll tell you about how it's affected me personally. I, surprisingly, do not live in Shawnee, Oklahoma. I'm actually from a much cooler state, Washington.
Yes.
But
Yes, sir.
while Washington is certainly not as hot, it is much more high. Washington was actually one of the first states to legalize marijuana in direct violation of federal law. Now, it turns out just a few blocks, or actually just a few really feet down from our house, our neighbor tried to get a license in order to put a marijuana factory basically right across from our road. And so I had the opportunity to speak before the county council, in which I talked about how the dangers of legalizing marijuana outweigh the possible economic benefits. I'll point you to some studies. The National Research Council reported that it sends a dangerous message to American youth because it fundamentally switches the motive, the narrative, that it's okay to consume marijuana as long as you are over the age of 18. In other words, it no longer becomes a universal wrong or a moral question or an ethical question. It is only wrong if you are under the age of 18. But if you're over that age, it's perfectly acceptable. So it condones an absolutely fundamentally flawed type of behavior. So let's look at instances in Amsterdam, LA, San Francisco, Chicago, Washington, or Colorado, and we'll see a consistent number that it has caused a 50% increase in violent crime, not just by all people, but specifically by American youth. And that kind of leads to the second issue. Unfortunately, the legalization of marijuana is particularly deadly for American youth as well. The Heritage Foundation reported that legalization has caused a 60% increase in trafficking, not just possession, not just use, but trafficking by American youth. These types of crimes can include burglary, murder, assault, rape, or even things such as driving under the influence, which has also significantly increased since the legalization of marijuana in different jurisdictions. So unfortunately, the entire idea of legalizing marijuana has been put in a masquerade. And that masquerade is causing people to die. It is causing people and encouraging them sometimes to commit crimes, to commit violent crimes. I need to do nothing else than point you to the example of Matthew, a person who is just probably about 1 year older than me from New Hampshire. You see, Matthew's county council had recently legalized marijuana. Now, Matthew believed that since it was okay, obviously, to use marijuana, it would be okay to take the next step. And so marijuana to him served as a gateway drug. So it started with marijuana and it went to heroin. And so just a block away from the doors of the county council that legalized marijuana, Matthew was found with a heroin needle stuck in his arm, dead under a bridge. Because his county council, his friends, his society told him it would be perfectly acceptable because we legalized marijuana and said it's no longer a moral or ethical question, it's a question of pleasure and convenience and even freedom. So I want to close all of you with this idea. Are we protecting the Matthews of our society? Are we upholding that fundamental Hippocratic oath? Because I believe more than just a doctor should take that oath. It is the job of our politicians and our friends and our family and our society to uphold that fundamental promise. Do not harm. Thank you.
All right. So could y'all see how similar it is that how he formatted his whole entire speech? Or last one?
Let's wait.
Yes, Mike.
So I'm assuming this is about information one.
So this is the Extemp one, yeah.
So information. I don't get it.
So in his speech, it was more like persuasive, but you can do informative or you can do persuasive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So just to clarify, this gentleman, he is doing more of a persuasive speech. He's trying to take a stand on no, or actually this is informative. Sorry, I apologize. It is informative because he's just saying what would it mean? Okay. And he's saying it'd be bad. And he's giving all this information on why it would be bad. Okay. So you can choose, again, if you want to do persuasive extent or if you want to do informative. Persuasive is when you actually want to debate the topic, but without debating against somebody else. You're just there trying to convince people to see your way of thinking. Informative is when you just inform the people of what the problem is. Okay? And then in TFA, they have different events where it's foreign or domestic, okay, you can talk about foreign problems or you can talk more about domestic problems. And that's Extemp. Do y'all have any questions on Extemp? This is going to be our very first little assignment that you'll have. It'll be an Extemp speech. So if you do ever have any questions, okay, make sure you're asking me because this is going to be your very, very first project that you're going to do is giving an Extemp speech. Yeah.
So extent speech, you're going to basically have one class period to work on it and then give it as well.
Yeah. So you are going to, so for our Extemp speech, you're going to have 30 minutes.
Oh, Miss Wait.
Class. Yes, sir.
About the Thursday thing. What about the virtual students? Can we come in on like Thursdays even if we're virtual or no? Or we have to be in school?
Yeah, we're not going to do it virtually, so you'll have to like.
I know, but can we come in for it or no?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can just walk in and tell them we're going to debate thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll tell my mom.
Okay, and it's going to be in D2. If you didn't say.
What room?
D2. So you're going to go
Okay.
down.
Okay.
All right. So that is Extemp. How you'll do it in this class, I'm doing it a little different this year because of time reasons, because it took us a long time to get through Extemp last year. You'll have 30, you'll draw a topic while you come into class. You'll have 30 minutes to write it. And then you have to, as soon as your 30 minutes is up, you're going to start recording your video. You're recording your speech. So you give your speech the same day you start it. All right. The next topic we're going to talk about is original oratory. Original oratory is basically you going on a tangent about some kind of problem that you think there's in a world. Okay. It gives you the opportunity to speak about something that you feel passionately about because you are the writer of the piece. So it's very open to what you can talk about. You can talk about anything you want with original oratory. Okay. Speeches are expected to be persuasive or motivational and often employ a problem, cause, solution format. So you'll like talk about the problem, you'll talk about what causes the problem, then you're going to talk about what kind of solution that we can do. Okay, speeches are written in advance and memorized. No notes are allowed during this speech, and there's a 10-minute time limit. But you could use, like if you were going to compete in original oratory, you can use the same piece all year.
So this is like completely like improv almost.
No, it's not improv. No, you prepare it ahead of time and you memorize it.
So you only have like one class period to work on it and also write it and also give it all that during the time.
That's Extemp. Extemp is pretty improv. This is original oratory. Yeah, so Extemp is pretty impromptu speaking, which is good because you want to kind of get that background, especially if you're going to do like debates with people. But original oratory is pre-planned out. So basically, original oratory is like how we did our All About Me. It's planned out. You have time. And you can go back and edit it if you want. Okay? Outside sources are restricted since this is expected to be original work. So you can't use something else. You will have like evidence that you'll use, but you can't use a lot of it. They actually have a limit on how much quoted material you can use. They limit you to 150 quoted words. So you can't have more than 150 quoted words from other people within your speech. Okay? Here is an example. Do we have time?
It is, we have 8 minutes.
We have 8 minutes. Gosh darn it. This is an example of original oratory. We'll watch it tomorrow. This is my favorite. It's Josh Gad. Y'all don't know who Josh Gad is. He is Olaf from Frozen. So y'all go ahead and pack up. Virtual learners, y'all can sign off.
I remember watching this one.